Okay, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are, and welcome to another review of the Superman franchise. And now I'm going to be talking about Superman 2. Now, unlike the first review, this deserves an actual review because the first one, I couldn't really give it a fair review because no matter what I said, it just it wouldn't be fair because hey, it is the first. It's the first superhero movie portrayed the way it should be, and that is serious, rather than be, just a comic book that's adapted to a movie. Because there are a lot of, movies that are, comic book based. It has some elements of the comic book it's trying to adapt, but it just does not adapt it fully. It just makes they just make the movie, like for example, Spider-Man. The Spider-Man franchise, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. It's a comic book movie. You look at it, and that's the complete definition of a comic book movie. And then you look at the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. They are movies on their own, but using comic book elements. Even if it's like a Batman story, it's still its own movie. You can still consider it as its own franchise. I mean, if the Batman, comic book didn't exist, and it was just a cop in some sort of costume, and he was fighting crime, it still would exist in its own franchise. So, Batman was just that stamp, um, of it being a Batman movie. Just the Batman character is just what it needed to be a Batman movie. If you take away Batman, then it's not a Batman movie at all. It's just a story, but it can exist on its own. So, I guess I made my point on that. Now, Superman 2, it is half and half. I do consider it as a comic book movie. Um, as a comic book adapted movie, and that is the characters in it. They are what the first one was, and that's kind of that's to me that's kind of the problem, as well as it's something that to write home about. It's something that is actually a positive also, because in the first one, you had the characters. Every character was established. But in the second one, there was no progression. Yeah, we had the thing going on with with Clark Kent, Superman, Lois Lane, a complicated mess. But it didn't. There was no, hey, I'm Superman. So would that affect us? Is that going to affect us? I guess it affected them at the end because Lex Luthor said, "Hey, they have some sort of connection." But Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor, here's where the problem lies. His character is like the guy who is a genius, but you don't see how his mind works. You don't see how he comes up with those, conclusions. It just like, hey, I'm smart. Hey, I mean, yeah, you're smart, but you're not psychic. You're not like, oh yeah, Superman is Clark Kent. How do you know? I'm a genius. That's not good enough. That's not a good enough reason for you to find that out. You should, there should be parts where he's doing research. He's following Superman. And he's wearing like some sort of lead costume. He should be like in an underground facility in a car that is made out of lead, and he's just following Superman underground to his fortress of solitude, rather than be like, yeah, I'm a genius. I found out that he goes north, and I'm just gonna go north, and I'm going to find out where he lives. That's that's not a good enough excuse. That's not a good enough reason for me as a viewer to be like, yeah, you've established Lex Luthor's character. Now, Gene Hackman does an awesome job, because Gene Hackman is Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman is an awesome actor, but uh, I feel like Lex Luthor was not needed. There's no reason for Lex Luthor to be in this movie rather than Gene Hackman. We've got Gene Hackman on payroll, so we gotta use him. Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor could have been taken out of this movie and would not have made a bit of difference. Um, I think the main character was General Zod, and Non was some sort of replacement to Otis. And thank God, because I hate Otis. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate this character of Otis, of being a bumbling idiot, helping out Lex Luthor, being his lackey. I hate him. Miss Tessmacher, I hate her. Although I don't hate her as much as I hate Otis, because oh my God, I just want to get into this screen and strangle Otis. I really felt what, and you know when they were trying to escape from the prison, spoiler, it's just, I was like, good God, I want to strangle Otis, and I just want him to, I just want Lex Luthor to leave him there. And when he left him, I was like, yes, good God, oh my God, thank you, thank you, thank you for leaving that piece of shit. I hate him. I hate him. Nothing against the guy who was playing him, who was Ned Beatty. Look, I like Ned Beatty. He's a he's a great actor. Now, I did enjoy him in other in his other stuff. He's a great comedian. And good God, I hated him. I hated him in those movies. In the Superman movies. And thank God that he was never seen again. Now, I felt that the Zod army, the three guys, well, I can't really say that Ursa is a guy, but that it can be debated. The three villains, General Zod, Non, and Ursa, they did their job. I like Non. He's pretty threatening. I really enjoyed his character. Him being the right hand man of Zod, being the guy that Zod counts on, and I liked him. I really liked him in this movie. I liked Ursa being, the conniving. Well, she wasn't conniving in this movie. They didn't show any connivication, if you will. But she was evil. She did feel remorseless. And she's just like, soft-spoken, and as well as to the point. And I really love that. I love that about Ursa. And I was hoping that, after watching this movie, I actually would have preferred if it was just Ursa and Non. Zod, a lot of people love him. A lot of people love this type of Zod, played by Terrence Stamp, and at some points I was like, yes, he is Zod. When he goes, kneel before Zod, and he's like, it felt, he felt too epic, and his outfit was like, what the hell are you wearing, dude? And another thing, him being a coward at the end, it's just like, no, that's not what Zod is. Because you felt like he's epic, He's the guy who survived the Phantom Zone. You need more than that. He should have been the guy with a lot of pride, who was like, Non, Ursa, do not interfere. It's between me and Jor-El's son, and I am going to destroy Superman. You could have had that, him trying his best to destroy Superman, but he cannot. He cannot keep up. There are parts where he gets the upper hand, beats up Superman, but at the end he's just, Superman revives himself and just, destroys General Zod. And there should have been a part where they're fighting in the moon and fighting near the sun, where both of them are getting this energy, but still, lashing out. And, there should have been a part where Ursa and Non are just, like, looking up and just, an awe between the fight with the fight between Zod and Superman. And you could have not had Ursa or not even. You could have just had Zod and Superman fighting. I think that would have been just more epic because Zod is just this one-man army. That would have been awesome. I would have loved to have seen that. But this movie, all the negatives that I've just mentioned, does not take away too much of the movie. I still would recommend this movie. I still would think that this movie is still part of the superhero milestone, and it does progress because this Superman movie, the first Superman movie was just about character work. It was about Superman. It was about how superheroes live in our universe and how they're just given this huge responsibility. But here we see choice. We see how Superman, feels. How much the world is on his shoulders, and how he just wants more. A guy who is the guardian of the galaxy is actually, he has his needs. He does want to live a normal life, and him, doing what he did, it actually has a soft spot in my heart for me, because it makes me think that, hey, if I was Superman, I would have done the same thing, because, hey, humans are also greedy people. We are a greedy being, because sometimes we just want stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting something or wanting more out of life. That's just what makes us human, and that's what Superman is. He's like, he wants to be human because that's where he was raised. Just because he came from Krypton doesn't mean that he is any less human than any one of us. I mean, yeah, he has the powers, but in the core, he is human because he was raised upon us. So, yeah, I'd give this movie an 8 out of 10. I know that's giving it a really high rating, but this is what I feel, because it's more than just character development. It's human psychology, because it's romance. It's like, what would you do if you were in his shoes? And not just that, but it also showed that Superman, it's not always cool being Superman. I mean, yeah, it'd be fun, with the powers and all, but then again, you've got a lot of burden resting on your shoulders. It's kind of bittersweet being Superman. So, yeah, there you go. 8 out of 10, like I said, and I love the scenery, and there are some stuff here that are, still carried from the first Superman, like, how the cape is just, it's resistant to fire and water and everything like that, but it's kind of mind-boggling sometimes, and as well as Lex Luthor, like I said. I think the Lex Luthor bits and pieces, they just take away a lot of the movie, and as well as General Zod being the coward that he is at the end. It's just, it takes away a lot of the movie. But the Superman stuff, the Lois Lane stuff, I really enjoyed the Lois Lane stuff. Their interactions, I really enjoy it. Margaret Kidder, I think that's her name. She is a great Lois Lane. And to this day, I do think that she is the best Lois Lane. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Jimmy Olsen, I think he was underplayed. There was nothing much for him in this movie. He kind of felt stupid sometimes. Even in the first movie, he's just like walking into shit. It's just like, there's no need for you to be here. Perry White, I enjoyed Perry White's bits. And yeah, and I really enjoyed Ursa.